Bum bum, zabadoo bum, beebadoo boop boop boom, doobadoo boop boop boom. Hey everybody, welcome back to Smirky Inside. I'm your host Curt Covert, and I am the owner of Smirk and Dagger Games. And on today's show, it's I've just called it Show and Tell because I'm just planning on showing some updates of some of our most recent and upcoming games. They're basically all visuals, so I just thought it'd be fun to take a peek. Um, by the way, for those who had been interested and who actually voted for us, we did finally hear back on the FedEx Small Business Grant Program, and sadly, we did not win it, but a lot of great businesses did, and so we congratulate those guys on their success there. And I don't know, maybe next year. So let me just switch over to comments and see if anyone has dropped in just yet. Not quite yet, but thanks for watching and glad you're here. So let's see. I have been working a lot in the past week on, I'm starting to tighten down the rules on the spill, trying to get them all set up. Hey, Dickie, how are you? Thanks for joining. And I've actually been doing a bunch of playtesting on my friend Friss's game, Liftoff, which I mentioned in the last show. So I've been playing a bunch of the scenarios he's got for his solo mode. It's a race to the moon, and I've been kind of pressure testing all the rules along with a bunch of other play testers who he's tapped to help him out. So that's been actually a lot of fun. We've identified a couple of the, here are some of the burrs. I mean, the rule books are so thick in the failure chart mode, so making sure all of that is really tight has been pretty interesting kind of dive into and everything. But I haven't done crazy well. I have lost a number of astronauts in catastrophic incidents. So maybe don't make me the the leader of your space program is the lesson there. Hey Heather, thanks for joining us. So let's see what else has been going on. Well, I have been getting some further updates from Quanchai on the spill. So right now he's getting into the game board and one of the actual kind of a situation board, but we have completed the front cover. So I'm going to unveil that for you right now. Hold on a second. Let me just arrange things just so. Yeah, we'll get it nice and big. Okay, here we go. Oh, could I actually get my head in there too? Yeah, all right. So, all right. So this then is kind of the working cover of the spill, and as you can see, from back when you saw it last, it was about in the 70% range of completion. And now he's just got a lot more detail involved in this illustration. You can really see. Can I zoom in with this? I don't know. Let me just try it. Oh, I can. Good. All right. You can now kind of see down at the bottom here. He's got this boat working in the water, putting out the boom. The octopus is just like, I mean, how cool is that? These fish coming in. We've got our rescuers and even some workers who are like working the lines, pulling the booms, dropping them into the water. The detailing on this sea turtle, I just absolutely love. I mean, it's very painterly, so it's really got that painted feel to it, but it's got so much character and so much beauty. And let's see, you can really see nicely here those kind of rainbow-like the rainbow-like glisten that the sunset is creating on the oil slick itself, making it kind of beautiful but also kind of haunting, which is just right. And again, I think what really makes this thing is this the life that kind of swirls up and through this piece is what I think gives it like this hopeful feel as we're glancing off into the horizon, out into the sunset, and just, you feel like we're gonna be able to do something about this. Another thing, which is kind of cool, is this is a really subtle thing. And I don't, oh, Andy, hey, Andy Kim, the designer, is here. Welcome, Andy. Thanks so much. Andy, I don't know if you noticed this when we were sharing this back and forth, but Kwanchai is obviously known for not just his beautiful illustration style, but also he's got this really great graphic sense that he brings to his pieces. And if you zoom in here, you'll notice that there are these concentric circles, which is taken right from the board itself. The playboard has these concentric circles, and it's got, quadrants and sectors that all the oil is spilling into. And he just had kind of the thought to place those concentric circles in two places on the board, just tying the whole game together actually into the illustration itself, which I just think is really, really cool. That really impressed me. So yeah, right. Andy's like, yeah, I didn't notice that. It's so subtle, but it is just, that's one of the things, I just think it's a masterful touch that he's able to actually bring in those things that are illustrative, but also graphic and tied to the actual game. And I just thought that was brilliant. And then up at the top, of course, this is the first shot over here at the logo. This was kind of my own doing. I found three kind of inspiration, typefaces, and I liked certain things about them, and I kept on like playing and smushing together and squashing and stretching things until I had kind of the feel I was really looking for. Corrosion, the oil itself. It's a messy logo, but I mean, contrast to the fact that, overall, the piece of this oil spill, the artwork, is intended to focus on the heroic aspects of you, the rescuers, coming to the aid of the ocean and the sea creatures. Back when we looked at some of the original artwork, it had been very dark, and so getting the artwork to be this kind of feel is definitely something that I wanted out of this artwork, so that people are like, ooh, pretty, and I want to pick it up. But the darkness of the situation, the oil spill itself, still has to come through. And so I think the type is actually a nice balance and reminds us that we are really in a dire situation that we have to correct, or things are going to fall apart quickly. And yes, so Heather, thank you. Yeah, it does look a lot more hopeful. And happily, that's exactly what I want. And then, of course, when you flip over the box, you're going to read about the disaster that's happening and the fact that you have very little time and you have to act quickly to remove that oil, to contain the spill, and to save the sea life before absolute environmental catastrophe strikes. So what else we have here? Heather says, like, you can be the hero to save the ocean. Yes, exactly. That is the absolute feeling that I wanted you to have looking at this box, and Kwanchai just nails it. And I, again, yeah, Andy, you're right. I think it really does capture the spirit of the game, because as you're playing, yeah, you're up against the wall. You're frantically trying to, keep things contained, but for most of the game, you're feeling like, you know what, I think we got this. And then sometimes you don't got it, but hopefully, you get good at working together and you find a way to get it done. Oh, Bill, hey, how's it doing? Bill Lasik is here, and of course, he is the designer of Koi. Love the art for this. Great graphically designed logo. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, that was fun. One question from Heather. What is this? Is that a dead body down at the bottom next to the Smirk logo? Let's zoom in and find out. It is not, I can tell you, but let's take a look. Okay, so what we actually have, we have two workers. They are pulling these cables. The cables are actually connected to booms, which are big floating pontoons that go out into the water to actually help contain the oil. Because as you know, oil and water, they don't mix. So the oil basically collects on top of the water by and large. So you can contain it a bit by these floating pontoons. That's one of the strategies. And Heather says, "Oh, it's the helmet on one of the workers. That looked like a dead body, huh? Yikes. Okay, well, happily, when you actually get up a little bit close to it, it corrects itself then." But anyway, yeah, I've just really been happy with the way that this is now pulling together. And what's this? Andy says they gather the water with the oil booms. Ah, okay. Interesting. I might need to do just a little bit more research. Obviously, this is Andy's game, and he did a lot of research in all the terminology and some things that are going on. But in any case, now the other thing that I did with the type, this is a really subtle thing, and I saw in the comments when Andy posted this the other day that it almost looks a little bit like a movie poster. Someone said, and I agree, and I was kind of going for that. And one of the things that helps achieve that is the way that I've handled Andy and Quanchai's names here at the top with the logo. This kind of like fin type designed by Andy Kim, and then the bold name. I mean, this is something you see on movie posters all the time. And when you connect two names to like the logo, you definitely get kind of a movie feel from it. And that's something I really wanted for this game because, when you play it, you can imagine yourself in the narrative of this game. You are one of these workers and you're really racing against time. And in some cases, the elements with the weather, trying to make sure that you can avert the disaster. So anything that kind of makes you feel like you're going to be experiencing an adventure, well, that is absolutely what I want this to deliver. So that's just like one tiny small graphic trick that helps put that in your mind. Like, there's a little bit more to it. Heck, Dickie says, yeah, coming to Netflix soon. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, and certainly there have been a lot of, there's been at least one movie. Of course, that was more about kind of like, the human element and the lives at risk, with the exploding rig. But in this case, we're leaking underneath the water. No human lives are at risk, just the coastline and the animals. So anyway, so that is... that's the spill cover art. And as I say, the next steps, Quanchai is now working on the board and the status board as well, where, you actually keep track of how many animals you've saved, how much oil you've pulled. So hopefully next week we'll be able to see some progress on that. And I think we're going to try to get Quanchai actually on the show. Maybe on the 25th, Tuesday the 25th, we're going to try to do that. And he's going to be talking about his process and how he actually approaches these projects, because he just has an amazing eye, and I would love to get in his head and actually hear about how he does what he does, because it's pretty stunning to look at. Well, so that was the show and tell part 1. For part 2 today, I have been working with another artist. I've been working with a company called Board Game Shot. It is a photography studio. It's run by Matt. I'll try to get this right. Zajda. Matt Zajda runs a Board Game Shot. They're out in Poland, and they specialize not just in your kind of standard photography, but he really he really likes to express artistry through his photography and particularly board games. So I got him the prototype of the Night Cage, the first finished printed copy, and just I said, hey, go nuts. Take 12 artistic shots. They don't have to be kind of boilerplate stuff. Have fun and you know see what you come back with. And it's interesting because I was going to like the low hanging fruit. If I was going to say, oh, well, what would you expect? You'd expect that the board game would be like set up with like candles around it because, candles are how you light your way in the dark. So you think about playing in candlelight. I know I do. But that is not the direction he went at all. And what he did do is pretty interesting and really comes to life in a certain number of these shots. So I've actually got all of them here, and let's take a look through them. It's just kind of neat. All right, so let me get over here. Okay, so this, I think I can make this window just a little bit bigger and get the whole shot in. Okay, there we go. All right, so this is a really interesting shot. Now, if you don't know the board game elements as well as I do, what I can tell you is that the foreground is actually our giant monster, the Dirge, which has been placed sideways. So we're seeing like the nose socket and just edges of the two orbits of the eyes. And it's so close to us that you can't quite tell what it is. And behind this piece, which is the 3-player token, when you're only playing with 3 players, behind that is the actual game board, just like kind of set up right on its edge. What's really interesting about this shot is while it showcases, of course, the illustration of our prisoner with their candle, it has this very disquieting, I don't know where I am or what I'm looking at, which is, of course, is exactly what that prisoner is feeling like. So they're taking the actual elements, the pieces of the game, and instilling through the photography and this racked focus, a sense of disquiet and the sense of the mystery of the unknown, which is what the game is all about, just in this photograph. And I thought that was pretty interesting. I really liked that. All right, so this is the next one. These are just the 5-player candles that he's shot. I hope you can see, like, out in the background, there's actually that kind of the blue one, which is almost hidden in darkness. But I'm going to zoom in and out on this because here's the thing I think is really cool about this shot. Obviously, he's got the yellow candle as the center, and it's the brightest point. Now, when you zoom way out, it looks like the yellow candle is actually providing the light, that it's glowing when you see it from far away. And I think that's really cool to have accomplished when, of course, it's really just a wooden token. Because when you get right up on it there, and you see all the texture of the token, there's the blue one back there. Anyway, it's just a really kind of cool shot. And I just love the lighting effect that he used on that. Let's see something else here. Okay, so this is a shot that again just kind of shows some of the pieces. These are the tiles that you actually work with during the game. Obviously, this also shows Chris Chan's artwork. He actually went back. I don't know if everyone knows this. The game, when we were kind of showing it around for most of the time, all the passageways were, if you came to a T passage, it was the same T passage on every single tile, the same with the 4 ways and all that. Well, he wasn't satisfied with that, and he went back and he put individual art on every single tile. So no 2 T passages or straightaways or 4 ways are quite the same, even though they're all functionally the same. But here again, with Matt's photography, what's kind of neat about it is background, this shape right here, you're not quite sure exactly where you are and what you're looking at. I think that is actually the cover of the box tipped really, really horizontally, and you're just seeing a hit of color on that. But it's very disorienting. Where is up, where is down? Again, this is something that you kind of feel during play. And that's why I think it's really brilliant that he brought that understanding of the spirit of play into this photographic image. So let's see. The next one is very similar in that regard. Again, so this one is this is one of our omen creatures. Is it? Oh wait, no, it's not. This is one of the new creatures that came in. This is a creature that, like a wax eater, attacks in all directions, but it will jump over pits. It will go through disconnected tiles, and it does, I think 4 tiles of damage. I've got to go back and look. But again, the actual photography, we're looking down on, it looks like a collection of the tiles that he's put together. And again, like what is this area? It's just, you don't know. I'm pretty sure, again, that's like the box tipped horizontal, but now it's upside down. So again, it's like you don't know where you are, and it's really neat. Andy says, I couldn't even think of visualizing some of these shots, let alone setting it up and taking them. I'm there, right there with you. Now, it might be that some of these might have been photo composites. I'll have to actually ask Matt whether they were all in camera. I know some of them definitely are, and some like this, I'm not sure whether that background was done, in 2 different shots and composed. Tiki's like the game isn't hard enough already where you don't know which way is up and down. Well, that's true. That would even be more disconcerting in the game. Oh, Denise, hey, welcome. POV is great on this, and on this photography, yeah. And you'll see throughout that the point of view is just constantly interesting and shifting. So let's see. Let's take a look at the next photo here. Oh, this is a cool one. So obviously, this is the gate. This is the way that you get out of the labyrinth. But what you see in the background behind it is you are looking at the actual tile holder where all those tiles are held, and spilling out of them are all the tiles coming up into the foreground, which gets very blurry. And I just think that's just a really cool shot. I'm all in for Shifty. Me too. All right, let's see the next shot here. Okay. So I love this shot because this is really thematic. Now, I don't know that Matt, the photographer, has played. I think he has definitely read through the rules and understood the pieces, because otherwise, I don't know if he would have been able to make some of these shots. But just from my appreciation of it, so you've got, the prisoner down here. That's from one of the player cards. You've got the keys, beautiful metal keys, by the way, and those were all molded in metal. And here's a nice selection of them in the kind of the center of the thing. But out here on the side, other side. Out here on the side, those are monsters called keepers, and they actually have a key inside their bodies. So in the advanced game, if you want a key, you're going to have to take it from inside their body, and you've got to approach them from only one direction. Otherwise, they'll attack you. So it's pretty neat. But photographed in this way, with the keepers kind of closing in on those keys, I kind of feel like they're about to devour the keys, so that you have to go and grab them out of their bellies. And I thought, That's that's brilliant. I just love the way they're kind of hanging in space, like, descending on the keys. Oh, hey there, Colin. How are you? Yeah, I know. Like, he says, I'm tripping. A lot of these are, again, they're very disorienting, and they make you feel uneasy, and that's terrific. So, all right, what else do we have? Ba-ba-ba. Andy says it's like the origin story for the keepers. I agree. It really is. Okay, this is a little bit more straightforward shot, but it's still very beautiful. Now here, this I can tell you just from looking at it, this is not a lighting where there's not like a candle light behind that. But I think what he's done is there's, I think, a spotlight again on the box itself, because those colors come from that image of the guy holding the candle, and then it's so distorted with the length of the focal length that it looks like the red candle is actually has a glow to it. Um, I just I love how he's using all the elements to create these effects and these feelings, and that's what I think is kind of special about this shot. And it's just the candle pieces and the keys, but other than that, I think it's the artistry of making that candle look lit that's fun about this one. So again, here's our keeper and a nice shot of one of the keys, and then he's got some other foreground keys that are really, really soft. And in the background, you can just see a prisoner in a tunnel. I don't know. Again, it's just got a great feeling to it. This is pointing straight down onto the tile holder, and of course, you've got all the players kind of surrounding. Kind of a neat shot just at the top. This one is one that I think is really, really, really cool. So we've got the 5 prisoners with their candles circling the sleeping prisoner. And this is from the starting tile. This is where you wake up in the game. Is you find yourself in the middle of nowhere in this rocky floor and total darkness with just a candle. Right, that's the premise of the game. Here, it almost looks like a ritual space, doesn't it? Now, this comes from the bottom of the box, where we put that piece of art nice and big at the bottom of the box, because we didn't actually put an insert tray into it, because so much of it was just like tiles that are going to be in a bag form. So we figured, well, we'll just keep it nice looking. And so that's from the bottom of the box. You got the 5 prisoners circling, and the nerve token, which is kind of central to this piece. It almost seems like that's like the trapped soul, like descending into this like bizarrely formed body, imprisoned in that shape. That's what I took from it. I don't know exactly what you take from it. If you've got other ideas about what you think this looks like, put it in here, because I think it's just cool looking. I almost like see these things as like monks surrounding, but obviously they're supposed to be the prisoner candles. But oh, Heather says someone is summoning something. Yes, yeah, absolutely. And I was wondering if it was like summoning like the soul of these trapped prisoners into this eternal labyrinth of darkness, this purgatory, really. So anyway, pretty neat. All right, let's see what else we got. So this is just a really nice shot of one of the player cards. But what he's done is he's used the foreground kind of blurred. I think it might be the tile holder. I can't quite tell, but he's eliminated all the actual text from the right side of the card, leaving just kind of this, just an appreciation of the art of your lit candle. That's your status. Are you lit, or are you on? Are you lights out? But and of course you can see just the edging of the box behind it with the person holding the candle. So nice shot. This was kind of neat. I mean, this is really, it's the discard board. It has the advantage of being able to show all the cool tiles, um, including the boss whose name I guess I forgot when I was going through, the Pathless, which is this guy right here. We saw him earlier. Um, but it shows all, all that. But then I think what's kind of neat is he's got, leading from that to the foreground, these are all tiles that he's arranged, and he's got reflections coming up off of those tiles. There's just kind of this glistening nature, and of course then the candles are almost like specters observing what they're about to encounter. Again, that's my impression of it, but just smart photography here. This one I think is a great shot. It's of the Pit Fiend, and it's hovering over the box. Just a nice way to kind of showcase elements, feelings, moods, and you just see a little piece of the logo, but it's not a box shot. This one is one of my favorites. So this is a shot of the side of the box. Along every side of the inner lid, you will see prisoners in tunnels, one per side. And so here he's got observers. The candles, the players are observing the trapped prisoner in the labyrinth. And it's just got a great, creepy, cool look to it. Just it makes me want to jump in and play right now. Maybe it does for you as well. Colin sees lots of doom, and you would be correct. There's plenty of doom in this game. Okay, well, this is actually kind of more of a straightforward shot. This is actually the game board set up. The tiles are in place. Now he's put plenty more tiles than you'd actually be able to visibly see, but it does give a really nice sense of the pieces. And the lighting is really interesting here too. It's got this really nice sheen and glow without too many hot spots, where you see the lights, but it still has this glowing nature to it, and it's a beautiful lighting of the shot. And again, just nicely, he likes to have things kind of fade out in all of these shots. And I think partly he's doing that because rather than necessarily just like dropping off the light all the time, he's achieving this sense of isolation and distance with all these very different focal lengths, and so things get blurry. Kind of neat. So Dickie is asking if we have any of the picks for the metal minis. Interesting that you ask. We do. Though, because they weren't in the base game, I only had to take just a few, because most of these are going to be helping to promote the core game, and the metal minis were really only if people went for that deluxe package. So that's the reason why there's fewer of them. Let's see what else we got. Oh, so this is really impressive to me. You can do a box shot. Anyone can do a box shot. And this is such an interesting way that he's done the box shot. This line, this reflection is placed because the box actually it keeps on going. This is a very odd angle. If the box is like this, it's coming the opposite direction. But this crazy angle and this reflection in the middle of the box cover, again, it's disorienting. It's unsettling. It shows you the box cover, but it shows it to you in a way that it's like, what's going on? And I think that just draws you in, and that's what great photography does. It draws you in. So, hey, Susie, Good to see you, Susie. Hey, Curt, I can't wait to get my deluxe edition of the Night Cage. Me too. um, I'm actually going to be doing a an update, up on the Kickstarter this week. I'm waiting for a couple of details to be more clear. It looks like all the games are getting finalized, packed up this week, and so we are. I think we found one shipping vessel, but we can't find a second one yet. So we are trying to nail down. We're trying to nail down shipping and get the bookings because it's too big for one 40-foot container, and you can't find containers. They're scarce, and it's only going to get worse because eventually, Christmas season, the big stores start shipping their stuff, in the next month or two, getting ready for Christmas already. And so the demand is only going to increase. It's going to be a pain all the way through next January, probably. So, what else we say here? So Colin, highlighting the wax on the hand. Oh, it really adds a sense of dread about it. Yeah. Now that's just pure Chris Chan on that. Chris Chan, not only he's one of the three designers. All very talented in board game design, but all of them are artists in their own right as well. They work at a Manhattan ad agency, and they do copy and layout, and Chris Chan does illustration, and so all of the illustration that you see in this game is his, and he just kept on making it better and better. I mean, I loved it even when I first saw the prototype, and he's like, "Oh no, it's still very rough." I'm like, "Oh, okay," but and he was right. It got even cooler. So he was great to work with. Let's see. Susie says that photo is awesome. It leaves you feeling somewhat unsettled. Yes, that's exactly what I felt too. It's jarring, and I think all of these photos have that quality. Bill reminds us, yes, container shortages are real, and it is so bad right now. Yeah, I wish there was a break. Obviously, COVID was a big part of that, but then the Suez Canal, you remember that boat was stuck sideways? That also had more problems, and then there's just backups at all the ports. It's a nightmare. I hope it fixes itself at some point. Colin says, I need this candle so bad. The burning of my hand is worth keeping it. Yeah, so you're kind of in the prisoner's head thinking, ow, this is painful, but I can't let go of it. Right. Correct. All right, let's see what other photos we got down here. Oh, okay, there we go. Now we've got some of the metal minis. Maybe I can even zoom this up just a little bit. But again, he's lit these so that it's very kind of like unidirectional lighting, very spotlight focused. So, trying to keep that isolation. So here that we got 4. Oh, no, there's 5 figures in there. But you don't get the sense that they are, even if they're close in proximity, you don't get the sense that there's any way for them to really necessarily connect. They are separated by the darkness, and that's it. That's the game. So let me zoom in a little bit if I can. Get a little detail on that mini. There you go. And what's great about these miniatures is that they really conform so well to the illustrations that Chris Chan did. Did a beautiful job of them. All right. Let's take a look at the next one. There we go. We've got another prisoner in a desperate situation looking for, what was that sound? And then this one. This is the last photo coming up here, but gotta leave you with a great one. So look at this photo. I tell you what, this photo to me says it all. Now, it comes right from Chris Chan's illustration, and the desperation, the hopelessness that comes through in his illustration, then in the molding of that mini by Kazrak, and then Matt has come in with his photography and the sense of isolation. It's just, it's a beautiful shot. It's a heartbreaking shot, and man, it just sings. All hope is gone is right, Colin. Yeah, it's I don't know. It tells you. I mean, everyone can take a photograph, right? Everyone can pick up their iPhone, snap a photo, and a lot of people do, and certainly I've showcased a lot of my games, by doing the same thing. But the difference is when you get an artist, when you get someone whose life is photography, to um, capture these images, they bring their own level of artistry that you just can't match. Some of it is the tools that they have. Some of it is just the skill and know-how, and some of it is actually conceptual. How am I going to set these pieces up? And again, that is what Board Game Shop specializes in, is the artistry of their photography, which is why I wanted to send them the game and get their take. I didn't give them any direction. I just said, here's the game, go do what you do. And man, they killed it. Dickie says, oh, I would buy larger versions of these minis to use as candle holders. Oh, that would be so cool. I would also really like a set of those. I don't know how that can happen, but if that can happen, that'd be really, really cool. Let's see. Heather, had to step away for a moment. Are the container storages still hurting what you have in stock, such as Shobu? The answer is yes. The container shortages it's industry wide, and it's not just it's worldwide. It's for any business who is shipping overseas, anywhere overseas. This container problem is absolutely a problem for everyone. Obviously, if you're a massive corporation, you probably have the money to throw at the problem and the power to get things done. But board game companies, largely do not. So we wait for what scraps we can get, and we jump on it as soon as we can get it. And we are paying, in some cases, double the cost for shipping. It's not a good situation. It's eventually probably going to lead to the increase of pricing, sadly. But there you go. But Shobu is actually on its way. So I was able to get a booking in. They have to ship it in 2 different containers rather than one, because it's whatever we could find. So I'm hoping that they'll be in around July and have those games back. Let's see. What else we have? Colin says, it's like the candles are trying to encourage it. Oh, I see. In this particular shot, you mean, like, the figure's so hopeless, but the candles are there like, hey, don't worry, buddy. That's one way to look at it. I found it a little bit more haunting than that, but I'll take you at your word. I like your version better. Garrett is asking for any updates on production of Night Cage. I was just saying that a little bit earlier, but yes, I'm going to be posting another update. Games are being sealed and put into cases right now. Some things are already on pallets. The biggest problem is getting shipping, as we've been starting to talk about in this last couple minutes. I've got 1 container secured, I think, but it's not going to bring everything in. So I need another container, and we're still waiting to find it. So it's literally breaking the back of every game company, just trying to get their stuff moved across the globe. And of course, yes, the same problem is true for board game retailers. They're also feeling the pinch, as is distributors, and everybody's impacted, and nobody's happy about it, including me. So Um, Anyway, so let's see. That I think those were all the images I had to share today. If you kind of stepped in late, you can go back and just relook at the beginning of the video, and you can just kind of fly through and see all the great shots. I mean, we probably have like 18 really cool things to look at today, and I'm really glad you all joined me for that. It was fun to do the show and tell. I'm going to be sharing these out on the regular social media channels as well, so Insta will get them and that kind of thing too. But in any case, hope you had a great time. Next week, I may actually have to take a break because I'll be traveling. But then hopefully on the 25th will be our next show, and we're looking to have Kwanchai Moria, the illustrator of The Spill and other great things, come in and talk about his process a little bit. So that'll be a really great show, and you don't want to miss that. In any case, until then, have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time on Smirky Inside. Thanks.